I'm here. What's going on, my family, friends, and loved ones, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all age? Welcome to another episode of Hoodoo Unleashed. And I know it's been a while since I did this episode, since I did another video. Once you become retired, as I am, once you get retired, you're like, I can just chill. Y'all have not let me chill. Y'all haven't. Let me explain my retirement one more time. I am not doing workings for people unless, hit the microphone, unless Spirit says I absolutely have to do it. Meaning, now that's how I normally do things. When y'all come to me requesting a spiritual working, then I'm like, can I do it or should I do it? But what I told Spirit was this. If at all possible, they can go to somebody else. I will send them to someone else. If I have to do it, then I'll do it. All right. I'm still doing readings. All right. You can go to www.thebrokeenones.org. That's going to be right there. I'll still do the readings, consultations, or whatever. Or I am also still teaching classes, which I will tell you guys in about a month and a half, I'm going to have a very extensive boot camp. And that boot camp is also going to come with your own workbook. All right. So when you take the class, you will be able to write things down. And by the end of that class, because my former boot camps were only 3 days, 2 to 3 days, this is going to be a 1 week intensive, extensive course. All right. And you're going to get a workbook and things like that. All right. And excuse my sniffling and snuffling and stuff like that. But anyway, guys, being retired, I thought would be a lot easier, but it has not been. It has been easier. A lot of you felt like, oh, this is the last chance to get with the prophet. That's what I wanted to tell you. No, I'm always going to be here for you guys. The text line is still open, even though some of y'all make me wish that the text line is not open, which is gonna, we're gonna segue into this video. The title you guys already know. We're gonna segue into other parts of this channel, which is gonna be stupid questions, which we have all always heard. There's no such thing as a stupid question, which we know we've been asked some dumbass questions in our time. So I'm gonna show you guys some of the questions that I get asked, so that you can maybe I should use my brain meats a little bit more when it comes to hoodoo. But anyway, this video is Hoodoo-Fact or Cap. So what I did was, those of you who are part of the Discord group, I asked you guys, what are some of the things that you've heard or learned about hoodoo that you want to know whether it's fact or cap? Fact meaning it's actual hoodoo. Cap is, they capping. They just made that up. Which, a lot of millennials and Generation Zers, they will make up stuff about hoodoo without even knowing that they're making it up. That's a conversation for another day. So I love my Gen Z folk. I just don't agree with y'all a lot of times. But it is what it is. Anyway, let's just dive right into the questions, because I want this to be a short video, which I want the rest of my videos to be short, unless it's for Patreon or Discord. Anyway, so let's get into it. The first question that I was asked was this. Question number 1 was, can you, the Native Americans helped us to understand the roots and herbs, and the Native Americans had a large part to play in the formation of hoodoo. Remember, come on. This is question number 1. The Native Americans helped us to learn the roots and herbs here, and they played a large part in the formation of hoodoo. Is it fact or is it cap? The answer is cap. It is 100% cap. Here's the thing. We have to understand that when the ancestors were brought here, we had Babalaos, we had Mambos and Hungans, and Ifas, we had Tatas and Yais, and they were the priests of the African traditional religions. So we were already a people who knew how to work with the land. And just to give an example of why we did not need Native Americans to teach us about this land, well, one thing that we understood back in the motherland was I can take some poison, put it on an arrow, shoot a zebra, it will kill the zebra, but I can eat it and it won't kill me. We understood already how these natural things worked. We also understood if there was a fruit there and I wanted to understand whether or not I could eat the fruit, well, I could watch the wildlife. And if the wildlife ate it and didn't die, then most likely it was okay for me. We applied that same knowledge. And that's not spiritual. That's just ancestral knowledge, which can be spiritual. Ancestral knowledge here. So if the squirrel and the deer and things can eat it, then most likely I can. There are some exceptions, but most likely I can eat it. But also when we look at the actual history of things, when were the Africans and the natives enslaved at one point at the same time? We have to understand history, people. History says that the natives were the first slaves of this land when the English came, right? But the natives fell prey to influenza and things like that. So they were like, we need some people that's a little bit hardier. And then they came and got our ancestors. All right. The Trail of Tears is real and it happened. African slavery is real and it happened. They happened maybe at the same, at overlapping times, but in different areas. They wanted to separate us. The thing is, people want to say that we learned things from Native Americans, and it has nothing to do with the Native Americans. Nothing. It has everything to do with the European enslaving oppressors. Here's what happened. After the Emancipation Proclamation, there was a certain time when, we lived down here, then we snuck up there still, even when we were free, because freedom wasn't free. But then over time, there came the Great Migration, when we migrated from the South under Jim Crow to the North, which was a little bit more lenient, but it wasn't lenient. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. But when you get some workers from the South to go up north, what happened was, well, now you have where down South, it was like a worker for every few square miles. Now it's a worker for every, block, because, they're going to let us move up there, but they're going to keep us contained. So, and this is how the oppressors, and they still do it to this day. Well, the oppressors were like, well, we love the Native American culture. Never mind the fact that they stamped it out. But they were always, because Karens were always around, guys. So they were like, well, we love the natives and their history and their culture. Because in reality, they stamped out our history and culture because theirs was stamped out. But I digress. Look at the Cash App up there. If y'all love this teaching, look at the Cash App. So they adopted the Native American culture. So when our ancestors went up there and we were competing against each other, well, we would look at the signs of the time, and it was like red man this. There's still like red man doggone chewing tobacco. Google it. It's right there. They would use the Native American what is it? Like the pictures in order for them to sell products. So we would do the same thing. They even did it on US currency. There was like an Indian head penny. Again, Google it. The Native Americans didn't teach us as much as the oppressors want us to believe. They only taught us that in order for them to sell more books and like classes and products. We we bought into it at the time in order to like sell more products to survive. They did it in order to like sell us more products. All right. So there we go. Native Americans and hoodoo that they taught us stuff like that. Absolutely cap. Absolutely cap. All right. Question number 2 is this. Only Black folks who what's the question? Only Black people who are like descended from United States slaves can practice hoodoo. And part 2 is, if you are of African ancestry but you live in like the UK or somewhere else, you can't practice hoodoo. Is it fact or is it cap? And again, it is cap. Unfortunately, we have gotten to a time where it's like, am I African American? Am I African Cuban? Or Afro-Cuban? Am I, I'm African of the African descent, but I live in the UK or I live in Asia, whatever. Listen, they have taught us to separate ourselves from the motherland. I'm not African American. I'm an American African. All right. If you are Black, you are Black all across the world. And I hate to reference US law because US law sucks. But US law used to say if you have one drop of Black blood, you are Black. But I feel like it applies across the world because we are melanated. We have our uncalcified pineal glands. Listen, if you have some Black blood in you, you are Black. Well, if you have melanin and Black blood, you are Black. All right. So no, it does not matter whether you're like Afro-Cuban, you can be Cuban. Well, no, I'm sorry, Afro-Latino. You can be Cuban, Dominican, Puerto Rican, or whatever. You can practice hoodoo, but understand the power of hoodoo comes through the African ancestors. So if you live your life walking down the street speaking Spanish, but the only English that you speak is when you look at somebody like me and you use the N word, hoodoo ain't gonna work for you, baby boy, baby girl. You gotta like live our plight and understand it. And don't separate yourself from us. You can't just claim the Taino, claim the African. All right. Y'all gonna thumbs down that part. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Question number 3. Spirits have evolved. Spirits have evolved. I hear this a lot, especially when it comes from non-melanated people who want to practice hoodoo. They will say, or not necessarily hoodoo, it comes from like folks who want to like non-melanated people want to practice Haitian voodoo. They want to practice Ifa. They want to practice Palo Mayombe, and they want to practice hoodoo. They're saying, well, the spirits have evolved. And the only reason that they say this is because we say that it is an African traditional religion and practice. And they say, well, the spirits have evolved. The spirits see no color. Guys, I've always said this. Spiritual law and natural law run parallel. They run parallel. So if physical law says that, listen, I remember. If I can remember that Sally Mae did not invite me to her doggone birthday party in kindergarten, now I see her and I get mad because I remember. With a finite mind, when we transition, the mind becomes infinite. And it doesn't mean that we forget. It means that now we're able to see through generations. And a lot of times when we have babies, we like to say, oh, that baby came out looking just like me. I have strong genes. How many times have you seen someone who had a baby and that baby looked like they doggone great granddaddy when you saw the picture? That baby looked like the great granddaddy. You don't think spirit sees that same resemblance? Doesn't remember the time that they were hung, set on fire alive, like drawn and quartered? You think they don't remember? Oh, they remember. They remember. So the question, do spirits, evolve and let stuff go? Do they see color? Well, no. Here it is. Fact or cap. Spirits evolve and don't see color anymore. Is it fact or is it cap? That is cap. Spirits absolutely remember. Absolutely. Now, does it mean that if you are non-melanated that you can't practice hoodoo? No, it doesn't mean that. It means you're going to have a lot harder time proving that you are your own person and you are not your great granddaddy. And it has nothing to do with the amount of time that you watched the video. Doesn't matter how many books you bought and read. You have to prove to them that you are not your great granddaddy who owned 11 slaves and killed 11 of them before, he could be charged with murder for it. Let's keep on going. The next one is you don't need the Bible to do hoodoo. Oh, Lord. You don't need the Bible to do hoodoo. Is it fact or cap? What do y'all think? You don't need the Bible to do hoodoo. Is it fact or is it cap? Again, it is 100% cap. You have to have the Bible in order to do hoodoo. Hoodoo is its own spiritual African American tradition. It is. And it was like born of the African ancestors who came here and adopted the Bible. A lot of my millennials and Generation Z folks will sit there and go, well, the African ancestors, blah, 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 blah. Listen, the Bible also says, lean not to your own understanding. All right. The African ancestors were given the Bible as sojourners in a foreign land. We were stripped of everything, our spears, our bow, our shields. We were stripped of everything. And I always tell people this. If aliens descend upon this planet and we launch our nukes, we launch our missiles, we shoot our bullets, and none of that affects them, one thing that we need to do is find one of their guns that they use, because that is obviously something that they find lethal, that it can kill them. So we adopted the Bible as something obviously they found lethal and it could kill them. So stop hating on Mima and Papa, but you want to, talk about the God that they believed in. Mima and Papa is the main one who will go into the closet, get on their knees and pray to sweet Jesus, the same person that y'all want to demify, but then you want to ask Mama and Papa on your ancestor altar to work for you. You better calm your tail down, because if they don't come for you, I will. Sweet tea. So if you're not using the Bible, you're not doing hoodoo. And what happens with that is this, guys. The oppressors, when they decided that hoodoo was marketable, They wanted to market hoodoo to as many people as possible. And they know they have the Wiccans and they have the demonologists and they have like all types of folks who have watched the Skeleton Key and they've watched Eve Bayou, which is how a lot of y'all came to hoodoo in the first place, even though y'all black as hell. Because y'all originally thought root working was Big Mama superstition. It was just an old wives' tale. An old wives' tale. But I know some very smart old wives. But y'all think they old fool. You don't get to be old by being no damn fool. But I digress. So they're like, listen, I can market that. I can sell it, but I can't just sell it with the Bible and I can't just sell it as black. What I need to do is I need to take hoodoo. I need to expand it to the masses. That's why you see some hoodoo things that have pentagrams on it. You see some hoodoo things that have like all kinds of stuff that has nothing to do with the American African experience in the South. What they did was they added things to make it more palatable to everyone. One thing they did was, if you're a lifelong pagan, you don't like the Bible, so they started telling you don't need the Bible to practice hoodoo. You want to practice hoodoo, just read this book. Ain't no Bible verse in there. All it says is just pray to whatever God you choose. But if you are an American African from the South, you know which God we choose. Y'all better stop. So you don't need hoodoo to practice the Bible. Is it fact or cap? 100% cap. Lastly, the last question, hoodoo and voodoo, the last statement, fact or cap, is hoodoo and voodoo are the same. It just depends on where you practice it. Again, let me say it. Hoodoo and voodoo are the same. It only depends on where you encountered it. Is that fact or is it cap? Again, I wish I could have some facts here. Shit. But no, that's cap. Hoodoo and voodoo are not the same. It doesn't matter where you had doggone red, like Georgia red clay, or doggone you dig a foot and a half in New Orleans. Hoodoo and voodoo are not the same. Yes, because ancestors would go back and forth. We share certain things. But we have to understand is this: hoodoo is a practice of the, African ancestors who came to the American South. The American South was ruled by Protestant Christianity. What is Protestant Christianity? Protestant Christianity says that I don't need a priest to talk to the Creator. I can just talk to sweet Jesus myself. Whereas Catholicism says you need to talk to the vicar of Christ on earth, which is the priest. That is Catholicism. Over in New Orleans, they practiced Catholicism. Voodoo was practiced more as a religion in and of itself, whereas hoodoo was practiced alongside with Protestant Christianity. Neither one is stronger than the other. They're strong in and of themselves. They're different. They have some similarities like High John root and things like that. But, over in New Orleans, they had certain voodoo saints. Over here in the South, well, there's no saints over here except the ones who come marching in, the people of the church. All right. And I will elaborate on this later on during my hoodoo class, but I will say this: in New Orleans, you had people from, Benin, Togo. Benin, Togo, they practiced Vodun. The ancestors left there with Vodun and landed in Haiti, also known as Haiti, and Vodun became Haitian voodoo. After the Haitian Revolution, well, a lot of them came to New Orleans. And Vodun, Vodun, went to Haiti and became Vodou. In New Orleans became Voodo. And a lot of people think that since it's Voodo, then it's the same as HODO. It is not. It is not. Guys, I've already been over like 15 minutes. If you like this video and you feel like, you want to have more Hoodoo-Fact or Cap type deals, then listen, please like, share, and, subscribe. And matter of fact, if this gets to 100 likes by tomorrow, we'll do a live tomorrow. As a matter of fact, if it gets to 100 likes by tomorrow, what I will do is I will do 3 live streams tomorrow, a morning one, an afternoon, and an evening one on your way home from work. All right. And we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about when we comment, whatever y'all comment in the comment section. All right. So let me know what you guys think about this video. A lot of you guys are, we'll look at this new thing that I have right here. This is a money tree hoodoo charm. All right. Because, we all need it. We may not like it, but we all need it. All right. Speaking of that, please look up here. And if you feel the need to sow a seed, then sow a seed through Cash App. All right. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. God bless each and every one of you. I'm glad to be back. And Patreon, I'm about to drop some like little short videos for you guys from my from my travels. I'm gonna tease y'all with one here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play it right now. God bless y'all. Thank y'all so much. Have a good night. Okay, so now I'm down here on some family land, and it's overgrown. I'm thinking about starting a GoFundMe to get it bush hogged, or just saving up to get it bush hogged, so I can just rebuild and make this Hoodoo Central Part 2, where folks can come down and get like the real Hoodoo Southern experience. So I'm gonna tactically retreat, because not too long ago there was a bear in that trailer. So we're gonna get out of here before Yogi decides he wants to make an appearance again.